Major cabinet reshuffle as he looks to breathe new life into his administration's flagging economic policies. The US State Department renews its ban on Americans traveling to North Korea for another year, saying it's still too dangerous. This as reports surfaced that Mike Pompeo's trip to Pyongyang was called off due to a secret letter sent by the North. Plus, we have all the latest from the 2018 Asian Games in Indonesia as South Korea snags 2 more golds and the unified women's basketball team stands on the verge of history after securing a place in the final. So let's start with the shake-up at the top level of South Korean politics. President Moon Jae-in conducted his first major cabinet reshuffle on Thursday, some 15 months after he took office. He nominated 5 new ministers. Gone are the now former ministers of Defense, Education and Labour, among some others. Several new vice-level ministers were also selected by the president. Cha Sang-mi starts us off.
President Moon on Thursday nominated replacements for 5 of his cabinet ministers, namely those for defense, trade, labor, education and gender equality, in the administration's first reshuffle since the president took office last year.
2 key phrases to describe the cabinet reshuffle. One is turning over a new leaf, and the other is filling. By that I mean turning over a new leaf as the administration gets a fresh start with the second cabinet, and filling as in trying to help the people fill the reforms achieved by the first cabinet.
The president named General Chung Kyung-do, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, to replace the embattled Defense Minister Song Young-moo, who's stuck in a difficult situation over the mishandling of controversial information regarding the Defense Intelligence Unit. If appointed, he would become the first Air Force general to head the Defense Ministry in over 2 decades. And he would be the second defense minister in a row not to have come from the army. Tasked with handling the jobs crisis, Lee Jae-gap has been nominated for Labor Minister. He served previously as Vice Minister for Labor in 2012. For Trade Minister, the president tapped Song Yun-mo, the head of the Korea Intellectual Property Office. He also named ruling party lawmaker Yoo Eun-hae for Minister of Education. The current minister had been slammed for causing confusion in the process of revising the country's college entrance procedures. And another ruling party lawmaker for the post of Gender Equality Minister, Jin Sun-mi. All the president's cabinet picks will have to undergo parliamentary confirmation hearings, although their appointments do not require parliamentary approval. The top office also tapped former presidential inspector and lawyer Lee Seok-soo to head the National Intelligence Service's Planning and Coordination Office. The Blue House has also named 3 other ministerial posts as subject to the reshuffle, hinting that Part 2 will be announced in a week or 2. Cha Sang-mi, Arirang News.
The United States has extended its ban on Americans' travel to North Korea for another year, citing that it's just too dangerous to go there. The US State Department says the warning will remain in place until August 31st next year. The State Department added that under US law, the Secretary of State can impose geographic travel restrictions on Americans under any of 3 conditions, namely, if a country is at war with the US, there are armed hostilities in a country or region, or there's an imminent danger to the public health or physical safety of US travelers in the country or area. It seems as though a secret letter from North Korea could be the reason behind US President Donald Trump's decision to pull the plug on his Secretary of State's planned trip to Pyongyang. Citing an unnamed government official, Reuters reports that the letter, which was sent by Kim Yong-chol, vice chairman of North Korea's ruling Workers' Party, said Mike Pompeo should not come to Pyongyang if the US has nothing to offer. The official also said North Korea believes the US is not doing enough in accordance to the June 12th declaration signed by the 2 leaders in Singapore. A UN Committee on Discrimination has urged the Japanese government to adopt a victim-centered approach towards the victims of Japan's wartime sexual slavery. The Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination published a report on Thursday saying the Japanese government did not take a fully victim-centered approach. It added that the 2015 agreement between Japan and the South Korean government didn't provide unequivocal responsibility for the human rights violations committed against the so-called comfort women. The committee discussed such issues for the first time in 4 years early this month. Although the Commission's recommendations are not binding, it's customary for the country receiving the recommendations to report countermeasures before the next session. Now we have this just coming in, a widely expected move. The Bank of Korea has kept its benchmark interest rate unchanged at 1.5% for August. This came during its 6th monetary policy meeting of 2018. The central bank has been maintaining its key rate since November last year, when it raised the rate by a 0.25 percentage point. We'll have more details on this during our next newscast at noon Korea time. South Korea's overall industrial production went up in July, while capital investment fell for the 5th consecutive month. Statistics Korea says industrial output rose 0.5% on month in July, marking a rebound from June's fall of 0.7% thanks to increased production in mining and manufacturing. But capital investment dropped 0.6% on month in July, marking the 5th straight month of decline, the longest run of declines in about 2 decades. Statistics Korea attributed the fall to shrinking investment in semiconductors. Production in services was similar to the previous month, with growth in science and technology being offset by falls in finance and insurance. Samsung Electronics has committed to developing groundbreaking products and services that will shape the next era of connected living. For more on what's in store from the Korean tech giant, Lee Seung-jae reports.
It's the world's leading trade show for consumer electronics and home appliances. From August 31st to September 5th, IFA 2018 in Berlin is the only place to be for tech fanatics. This year's event will not only host more innovation and product launches than any edition before it, IFA 2018 will also present more digital lifestyle products under one roof than any other show worldwide. Samsung Electronics, as you'd expect as one of the world's leading tech giants, is taking center stage. Samsung is using the event to outline its vision for products and services for the next era of connected living, enabled by artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and 5G technology. Samsung held a press conference on the eve of the event to lay out its commitment to developing groundbreaking products and to bring greater convenience to people's lives. Among the many revolutionary products introduced in Berlin is Samsung's QLED 8K television, complete with 8K AI upscaling. The TV features several 8K ready enhancements, including real 8K resolution, QHDR 8K, and quantum processor 8K, all created to bring 8K quality images to life.
Samsung is heralding a new era of picture quality at IFA 2018. The key term is 8K. We're presenting a QLED TV with 8K resolution. That means 60 times as many pixels as Full HD resolution. This product will be in stores from October.
Samsung expects about 1,000 renowned AI researchers to be working in its facilities globally by 2020. It says they will be designing and developing user-centric AI that continuously learns and improves users' lives in an ever more intelligent, useful, and personalized way. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
South Korea is counting the cost of this week's torrential downpours. We now know that the heavy rain left almost 300 people homeless and some 1,400 homes flooded. According to the Ministry of the Interior and Safety on Thursday, 288 people were forced from their homes after the intense burst of rain that slammed the Korean peninsula this week. Of them, over 200 are still in temporary shelters. 62 factories and 187 businesses were also inundated with flood water. The heavy rainfall left 2 dead, 3 injured, and 1 person still unaccounted for. A 30-metre wide sinkhole appeared early Friday morning in the Gumcheong-gu district of Seoul, causing an apartment to tilt. One apartment near the hole tilted by about 5 degrees after the hole appeared on a road nearby, and about 150 residents had to be evacuated. The sinkhole is about 30 metres by 10 metres and is roughly 6 metres deep. The fire department says that heavy rain may have weakened the ground, causing the hole to appear. Over 148 millimetres of rain had fallen on the area between midnight of the 27th and 6 a.m. Friday. Now, is religious belief an acceptable reason for one to be exempt from mandatory military service? The nation's Supreme Court held a hearing on 3 related cases in which the defendants and the prosecution publicly made their case. Che Shi-young takes us through both sides of the argument.
Ahead of its ruling, Korea's Supreme Court heard arguments Thursday in the cases of 3 conscientious objectors indicted for refusing to serve in the military on the grounds of their religious beliefs. In 2004, the court ruled that religious beliefs are not a justifiable reason under the Military Service Act. But since then, lower court decisions have all run counter to that judgment. And in June, the Constitutional Court mandated that the National Assembly amend the law to offer alternative service to those objectors. The hearing Thursday focused again on whether religious beliefs are a justifiable reason for not serving. The defense argued that the decision not to enlist is based on an earnest deliberation of one's religious convictions, and that they are not calling for an exemption from civic duty but merely asking that their freedom of conscience be recognized as guaranteed under the Constitution. The prosecutor stressed that a justifiable reason under the law includes only diseases and natural disasters that can be objectively assessed as impediments to military service. They argued that religious beliefs are personal and that it's impossible to objectively examine the existence of religious beliefs because of the possibility of deception by non-believers. With the hearing now over, the Supreme Court will deliberate and issue a ruling. All eyes are on whether the court will upend the 2004 decision and find religious beliefs an acceptable reason for refusing to report for active military duty. Choi Si-young, Arirang News.
Now, South Korea is kissing goodbye to plastic straws in its bid to go even more green. Most of the nation's coffee shops and cafes are ditching the plastic in favour of some interesting and eco-friendly alternatives. Kim Da-mi reports.
With this edible straw, you can enjoy your hot Americano for 2 to 3 hours, or your favorite iced tea for up to 10 hours. If you prefer not to eat the straw after finishing your drink, it will decompose naturally within 3 months, rather than 500 years like plastic ones. With global initiatives to eliminate and reduce plastic use, such as plastic bags and cups, straws of different shapes, forms, and sizes are being produced, like these edible ones.
My goal is to create even more appetizing straws packed with vitamins, red ginseng, and chitosan that can attract older people and more.
Coffee shops in downtown Seoul have already started to go plastic-free. Drinks and desserts are served only with reusable materials like stainless straws, paper straws, and glass cups. These cafes also encourage customers to think and live eco-friendly by selling stainless straws and, of course, brushes to clean them.
Customers seemed a touch confused initially, but after learning about the environmental reasons for doing it, they now bring their own containers to go.
I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference for the consumers to eat from a wooden bowl instead of a plastic bowl, so I'd definitely come back.
Franchise businesses are also participating in the campaign. In addition to Starbucks' goal of banning plastic straws worldwide by 2020, so-called drinking lids have replaced regular straws. Straws made out of rice, bamboo, and paper will also be introduced in luxury hotels in Seoul from early September. But of course, forming new habits and efforts to maintain hygiene are necessary. And experts say doing the dishes may require even more dish soap, a side effect of the change that has its own negative impact on the environment. Going green isn't cheap, as these paper straws cost 10 times more than plastic ones. But these straws can be the start of a greener life and cleaner environment. Kim Da-mi, Arirang News.
So let's take a look at the action from Jakarta and Palembang, the host cities for the 2018 Asian Games. And there were 2 more golds for South Korea on Thursday as the Games start to gradually wind down now. The South Korean women's handball team were the standout on Thursday. So let's start our report with them. Won Jung-hwan with the details.
The South Korean women's handball team collected their 7th Asian gold medal on Thursday. They beat China 29-23 and look firmly in control throughout the game. Since 1990, South Korea has won the gold at every single Asian Games apart from the 2010 edition in Gwangju. After the game, while expressing his determination to keep the winning mentality going into the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, the head coach told reporters that they might field a unified team with North Korean players at the upcoming Asian Handball Championship in December. In fact, speaking of joint Korean teams, the unified Korean women's basketball team reached the final with a convincing 89-66 win over Chinese Taipei. South Korea's center Park Ji-soo had a double-double with 10 points and 11 rebounds, while three other teammates, including North Korean star Ro Soo-kyung, delivered 17 points to secure at least a silver medal in Jakarta. But whether it's gold or silver, the medal will go down in the history books as it will be the first medal won by a unified Korean team in ball sports at an international multi-sports competition. The medal won by the unified Korean team on Saturday's final will be awarded to neither South nor North Korea. Instead, it will be awarded to Korea. South Korea's only other gold medal of the day came from track cycling. Lee Joo-mi won the women's individual pursuit title by catching her Chinese opponent on the final lap of the 12-lap event. Lee had earlier helped Team Korea win the team pursuit gold medal along with Na-eum, the only South Korean at this year's Asiad to win 3 gold medals. South Korea added more medals from judo, including a pair of silver medals from An Chang-nim in the men's under 73 kg and Kim Sung-yeon in the women's under 70 kg. South Korea has won 7 Asiad medals in judo so far this year. Elsewhere, South Korea's baseball team defeated Japan 5-1 in the first super round game, inching closer to its 3rd straight final appearance. The 2-time defending champions will face China on Friday to close out the super round, and a win will mean a place in Saturday's gold medal game. 원정환, 아리랑 뉴스.
Now, young athletes from all around the world are in South Korea this week to learn and experience the nation's favourite martial art. It is, of course, Taekwondo. Taking us to the 2018 Global Taekwondo demonstration in Muju County is our Yoon Jung-min.
Courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and an indomitable spirit. These attributes represent the spirit of Korea's national martial art, Taekwondo. With a spectacular demonstration performance by a South Korean team, the 2018 Global Taekwondo Demonstration Festival bursts into life. Around 160 practitioners from 11 countries are participating in this year's event at the Taekwondo One Training Center located in Muju, Jeollabuk-do Province. They traveled all the way to the southern part of South Korea to learn and experience the tenets of the martial art. Since Thursday, participants from Canada, Vietnam, Denmark, Russia, and many other nations have been holding training sessions and putting on various performances.
The thing I like the most about this training is that we are a lot of countries that train and practice together so that we can learn from each other and get inspiration from one another.
Taekwondo features sparring, breaking, and self-defense techniques. Young athletes spurt with loud shouts, jump, kick high in the air, and roll forward and backward. Despite practicing for hours, their energy and power never fades away.
Well, right now, all I'm focusing on is the World Taekwondo Championships that's going to be happening in November. So I'm really excited for that.
Taekwondo One says demonstration performances are becoming increasingly popular on the global stage thanks to the splendid techniques and beautiful choreography on show. The institution contributes to nurturing talented young athletes for those performances.
The 2018 Global Taekwondo Demonstration Festival runs until September 2nd. The organizers hope the festival's performances will help show the beauty and strength of the martial art. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News, Muju.
Now, US President Donald Trump is reportedly ready to impose tariffs on $200 billion more in Chinese imports as soon as a public comment period on the plan ends next week. The potential move was reported by Bloomberg on Thursday. For more on this and other news from around the world, let's turn to our Noah Adam. Adam, could we see this trade conflict escalate even further?
Well, Mark, it is hard to tell at the moment, as the Bloomberg report did note that President Trump's position is not final. It also suggests that if any tariffs were to be imposed, they would probably be enacted in installments. Any announcement on the matter is likely to come out late next week after the public comment period ends. Companies and members of the public have until next Thursday to submit comments on the proposed duties. The report also said it's possible any tariffs imposed would take effect at a later date. The White House is yet to comment on the report. Markets have reacted badly to the news, with the S&P 500 hitting session lows and the US dollar, Chinese yuan and US Treasury yields also falling. If the US goes ahead with snapping duties on the $200 billion worth of Chinese goods, it would be the largest so far and could escalate what is already a tense trade war between the world's two largest economies. The new proposed 25% tariffs would also affect more products, including home building supplies, bicycles and clothing. The Trump administration has already applied tariffs to $50 billion of Chinese goods, with Beijing retaliating in kind. Talks aimed at easing trade tensions ended last week without any major breakthroughs. Argentina's central bank has raised interest rates to 60%, up from 45%, as the country's currency continues to plummet in value. The peso dropped a further 15% in early Thursday morning trading, and it has also lost half of its value since January. The central bank's move comes after the IMF agreed to speed up its $50 billion bailout to Argentina, which has been struggling with high inflation and crippling economy. Argentines have been exchanging their pesos into US dollars in order to protect themselves from the massive devaluation. Investors are also losing confidence in the government's ability to revitalize the ailing economy. Moving on to sports now, and Croatian midfielder Luka Modric has been named the Men's Player of the Year by European football's governing body UEFA. He was crowned at the ceremony for this season's Champions League group stage draw on Thursday. It follows a year in which he won the Champions League with Real Madrid and helped steer Croatia to the World Cup final for the first time. He edged out the likes of Juventus forward Cristiano Ronaldo and Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah.
Good morning. Central and northern regions have been seeing heavier showers for the last few days, but now southern regions will need to brace for showers today into Saturday. So Chungcheongdo provinces and the northern parts of the Jeollado and Gyeongsangdo provinces are seeing heavier showers, with rain falling at a rate of 40 millimeters an hour. So a heavy rain warning is in place for Sejong and Chungcheongdo and Jeollado provinces, and rain alerts are likely to be issued for more regions as the day goes on today. So 50 to 150 millimeters of rain are expected for those central and southern regions, while southern coastal regions could see more than 200 millimeters of downpours. And daily highs in most parts will be at around 29 degrees Celsius this afternoon, that's including here in the capital. Meanwhile, summer heat continues on Jeju Island with a heat wave advisory. That's Korea for you, and here's international weather for viewers around the world.
Well, that's where we're going to have to leave it for now on this Friday morning here in Seoul. Do stay tuned to Arirang TV. We have our next newscast is coming up at noon Korea time with our very own Lee Ji-yoon. If we don't see you, though, have a wonderful weekend. Until next time, goodbye.